got their work done early, where they added Taurean Prince. This is Gabe Vincent. They have agreed to a 3-year, $33 million deal. The Lakers have used up most of that money they had in the mid-level exception.
Free agency has been absolutely insane so far in ways that I wasn't necessarily expecting. There were contracts handed out that I wasn't really expecting. We made a video on the Portland Trail Blazers earlier if you guys want to check that out. And of course, each and every year I make a video on the Los Angeles Lakers editions, and it looks like this year they took a completely different path to constructing their team. So before we get to the content, we're running yet another $1,000 giveaway split between 5 subscribers that turn on our notifications on this channel. We announced the first set of winners on my community tab already, so go ahead and check it out to see if you've won. Now that we get all of that out of the way, cue the intro. The NFL and NBA season are officially over, and I need something to hold me over until at least the NFL season comes back. So I've been playing prize picks for the WNBA and the MLB, and I've been fairly successful. It's a good way to get some extra action on games that I wouldn't really watch otherwise. I post my picks onto my Instagram story daily, and I've been hitting on a decent amount of them. And right now, when you use my promo code microphone, they'll double your deposit up to $100. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? All eyeballs were on the Los Angeles Lakers to figure out how they were going to improve their roster following an embarrassing sweep at the hands of the Denver Nuggets, which, to be honest, I didn't really think was super embarrassing. For some reason, people thought it was embarrassing that the top team in the West and the eventual NBA champions were able to sweep the 7th seed in the West. That was quite literally a play-in team after this team was quite literally constructed after 2 months with one another, but I digress. Following this, there was one very controversial moment. How will the Los Angeles Lakers choose to reconstruct their roster? On one hand, you had LeBron James quite literally threatening retirement.
I got a lot to think about, to be honest. And just for me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, got a lot to think about.
Which a lot of people took as LeBron James saying,
"Hey, get me Kyrie Irving or else."
Which you guys already know I was very against from the very beginning. Some people think I have an agenda against Kyrie Irving. It's more the fact that I don't want to see another big 3 built in Los Angeles. If LeBron James wants additional help, it should be in the form of high-end role players, not another big 3 that could work or could not work, which, by the way, committing to Kyrie Irving would be very volatile for the Los Angeles Lakers, because for all you know, he could get injured, there could be some off the court stuff, whatever. When you're allocating a significant amount of capital to a player and giving him a max contract, if that player can't show up for whatever reason, your team is clearly in jeopardy, because after that, you're just surrounding those players with veteran minimum contracts that usually can't pick up the slack. And that's what the Lakers dealt with during the Russell Westbrook era. You had a big 3 that just didn't work with one another. You're giving Russell Westbrook $47 million a year. So on top of a big 3 that wasn't working out, you were surrounding them with low-end role players, except Carmelo Anthony, who clearly outplayed his contract, and that's why the Los Angeles Lakers were terrible with Russell Westbrook. And that's why the LA Clippers were great with Russell Westbrook, because he was on a veteran minimum contract on the Clippers. With that being said, it seemed like LeBron was hinting that he wanted Kyrie, at least that's what we were speculating. On the other hand, you had Rob Pelinka that was very, very firm about his stance about this Los Angeles Lakers team. He wanted continuity, and he said it as soon as the exit interview started.
Our intentions are to keep our core of young guys together, and I think we saw incredible growth and achievement by, Rui, Austin. I could go down the list, Vando, D'Lo. We have a lot of great young players. And we want to do our best to fit the puzzle together.
Now, in our last video, we discussed that the Los Angeles Lakers made a major decision. Going into free agency, they decided that they were going to do whatever they possibly could to keep this core together. Music to my ears. But there's been a lot of flip-flopping throughout this offseason. I mean, originally, as soon as the Western Conference Finals ended, we thought that D'Angelo Russell played his final games as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. There was a number of reasons why. He had a very weak showing against the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets. Following that, that, there are rumors about Darvin Ham feeling uncomfortable about benching D'Angelo Russell and D'Angelo Russell being uncomfortable with potentially getting benched, which is kind of funny because there's a clip of D'Angelo Russell currently going viral at his camp where he's preaching sacrifice.
He's cramping, right? He ain't get the ball. He the best player. You made all the right passes. Everybody wanted something more, right? He wanted to score more. You wanted to shoot more. You wanted the ball more. And y'all still won because y'all did what it took, right? At the end of the day, whatever it takes to win, you got to do that. Win, that might be diving on the floor. That might be not touching the ball the whole game. I wish you would have got that shot. You probably wouldn't have made it. You know why? Because you was worrying about that joint the whole game. So then you get the shot, you thinking about the whole game, you might airball that joint. You feel me? He cramping. He ain't worrying about shit. He passes, set screens. He get that joint in the last second, he make it because his mind right. You feel me? Keep your mind right, so you never know when it's gonna be your time. You feel me? I should lose another game, bro. That was impressive. Dominate.
But the more recent thing we've heard about D'Angelo Russell was the Lakers were very much interested in bringing him back. And then we heard that the Los Angeles Lakers are interested in bringing back D'Angelo Russell, but it's gonna be for $20 million a year. And then we also heard at the same time the Lakers are interested in bringing back Dennis Schroeder on a much bigger contract as a reward for him playing so well on a veteran minimum contract. Bear in mind, Dennis Schroeder has some PTSD from rejecting big contracts before, so I feel like at this point, if a team gives him a nice contract, he's gonna jump all over it. So going into free agency, there are a lot of variables here. Are the Lakers gonna pursue Kyrie Irving? Are they gonna try to opt for continuity? What was gonna happen? Because they were consistently flip-flopping. Well, as soon as free agency started, the very first piece of news we heard was Draymond Green wasn't coming to the Lakers, unfortunately. That happened like the moment free agency started. Following that, we got some breaking news about the first free agent acquisition that the Lakers made. Free agent forward Taurean Prince finalized a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers for a 1-year, $4.5 million contract. Taurean Prince was once, ironically, a teammate of D'Angelo Russell's, but I love the addition. He has always shot around 38% to 41% from three throughout his career. A remarkable forward, very cheap shooting to add to the Los Angeles Lakers, and not too much of a defensive liability. A negative 0.6 DBPM on Minnesota, a team that isn't known for their defense, could translate into a positive DBPM on the Los Angeles Lakers, on a team that's preaching defense. At the very baseline, it's an addition that I thought made a lot of sense. Very shortly after Taurean Prince, who was added on a remarkable contract, might I add, there were rumors that the Los Angeles Lakers may be interested in adding Eric Gordon, paying him maybe $12 million a year. Well, it looks like that's not what the Lakers opted for. As a matter of fact, the player that they decided to give that type of capital to was a player that I believe was very deserving, and I personally am excited about, and that's Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent really developed as a point guard with the Miami Heat, was a phenomenal role player on their incredible run to the NBA Finals as an 8th seed. Had a down year shooting from three, but the year prior he shot 37% from three, but even in a down year he shot 33% from three, averaged nearly a steal each and every game. A phenomenal role player for the Los Angeles Lakers to add. Now, throughout all of this, I had one question. What about the talent that we were trying to retain? What about Austin Reeves? What about Rui Hachimura? Primarily, Rui Hachimura is a player that I'm very much fond of, mainly because I really believe in Rui Hachimura's potential. He's 25 years old. I've compared his game to a circa 2013 Kawhi Leonard, averaged very similar numbers to 2013 Kawhi Leonard. Maybe he could be more. Maybe this is all he is. Regardless, watching him in the playoffs was truly a sight to behold. Was very versatile defensively as well, was able to guard multiple positions, was very crafty in his ability to get to the rim. I felt like the Los Angeles Lakers was a remarkable destination for a player that was drafted within the top 10 of the 2019 NBA draft. Well, fortunately, Rui Hachimura agreed to return to the Los Angeles Lakers on a 3-year, $51 million contract. Rui, to me, I know this might not be the most popular opinion, but he was the most important free agent for me, mainly because I just absolutely loved his game. I really believe in his ceiling, and I could be wrong. Maybe I just had a crush on him for no reason. So there's some people that believe Rui's contract is an overpay. Not in the least bit whatsoever. He's getting paid $17 million a year. The salary cap is expected to go up 10% year after year after year. So that contract could potentially be a steal based upon his performance over the next next 3 years. I really like what I saw. Very minimum, you're talking about a great two-way player. Maximum, you're talking about a player that could potentially be an all-star someday. It really just depends. So I believe that's phenomenal value for a player that is of Rui Hachimura's caliber. The next player the Los Angeles Lakers would elect to sign is Cam Reddish, a former lottery pick selected a few picks after Rui Hachimura in the same NBA draft, primarily known for his time with Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett on the Duke Blue Devils prior to the draft. Cam Reddish never really had the opportunity to succeed. I mean, in Atlanta, he was kind of buried at the end of the bench because they had a log jam of forwards. He got traded to New York. People were hoping that he would be able to finally get some playing time since his former teammate RJ Barrett's in New York. They were even creating these cute little scenarios that Zion Williamson was gonna find his way to New York so they could reunite and form that big three that they had in Duke, but that didn't happen. He would get traded to Portland. Now we started to see some flashes of his potential in Portland. All in all, I don't think the stat sheet tells the whole story here. This is a very low risk, high reward type signing. Very worst case scenario, you're talking about a player that will get buried to the end of the bench. And I hope that isn't the case. He's still very young, and I think he could be a very good player in the NBA if a team finally gives him a chance and is actually focused on developing him. And I hope that team could be the Los Angeles Lakers, because this is a player that the Lakers had on their radar for a very long time. Now, following this, there are some questions. I mean, you were able to bring back Rui Hachimura. You're able to sign Taurean Prince. You sign Gabe Vincent. You sign Cam Reddish. You lose Dennis Schroeder to the Toronto Raptors. There aren't any centers on this team. But the good news is the Lakers have enough room to bring back both Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, in addition to signing 2 more veteran minimum free agents. At least one of those players need to be a big. I originally wanted to get you guys this video by the end of the night last night, but I felt like there were so many major additions that still needed to be made that determined whether or not I believe the Lakers had a successful offseason or not. And I'm glad I ended up waiting, because up until this point, we have Rui Hachimura, 3 years, $51 million. We have Cam Reddish, 2 years on the veteran minimum. We have Taurean Prince, 1 year on a $4.5 million biannual exception. Then we have Gabe Vincent on a 3-year, $33 million contract. Now, when we woke up this morning, there was one question. Okay, what about a backup big? Well, the Lakers officially answered that, signing Jackson Hayes to a veteran minimum as well. This is kind of funny because the Los Angeles Lakers traded the number 4 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft for Anthony Davis, and now the 8th overall pick, 9th overall pick, and 10th overall pick are all on their roster. Jackson Hayes is extremely young, by the way. He's 23 years old. He's very long, 6'11". He showed off a lot of his potential during the 2021 to 2022 season, and then his minutes got cut in half during the 2022-2023 season. He's currently dealing with some off the court issues as well, so maybe that affected his market as well, but I believe the potential's there, and on a veteran minimum contract, why not? Following this, there were 2 important answers to questions that I needed in order to sleep at night. I'm very impressed with the Lakers offseason so far, but you guys know I'm a little bit of a D'Angelo Russell stan. You might be thinking this was random as hell. I think this is because he was our highest draft pick since I honestly don't know when. Probably throughout my entire tenure as a Laker fan, to be honest. I started watching in 03. Someone could fact check me if they want. But he was supposed to be the player that Kobe Bryant passed the ceremonial torch to. So when we reacquired him during the trade deadline, I was very happy. I feel like the turnaround the Lakers had during this season was primarily fueled with, one, obviously trading away Russell Westbrook, but also because D'Angelo Russell was a remarkable fit next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and I felt like a whole offseason together could result in some very, very good things for the future. The question was, how much was D'Angelo Russell going to get? And prior to this, D'Angelo Russell was signed to a 4-year, $117 million contract. So throughout his entire career thus far, he's only 27 years old, D'Lo has made about $138 million throughout his entire career. Well, the Los Angeles Lakers agreed to a contract extension with D'Angelo Russell for a 2-year, $37 million contract. I give a lot of props to D'Angelo Russell for accepting this contract. I compare this to when Andrew Wiggins got his contract extension from the Golden State Warriors. They're kind of similar, not 100%. Obviously, the Warriors won a championship, but the one issue D'Angelo Russell has always had throughout his career is a lack of continuity right when he gets to a situation that works the best for him. The best example I could give of this is obviously the Brooklyn Nets. He gets to the Brooklyn Nets. They have a very uplifting and exciting season where they make it to the playoffs and D'Angelo Russell becomes an all-star. And then Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant decide to come to town, and D'Angelo Russell is included in a sign-in trade for Kevin Durant. He goes to Golden State. He averages about 23 points per game on Golden State, and then he gets traded to Minnesota. There's a lot of excitement of him in Minnesota teaming up with Karl Anthony Towns, but he dealt with injuries, and then eventually Anthony Edwards came into town, and then slowly but surely things started to crumble in Minnesota as well. I think the talent is there. I think he realizes that this is a situation where he could potentially win a championship. He shot 41% from three in the 17 games that he was with the Los Angeles Lakers. And I think this continuity, playing with Anthony Davis, playing with LeBron James, staying with the Lakers for an entire 2 years is very good for him. On the flip side, for the Lakers, at the very worst, this is an extremely tradable contract. We're talking about $18.5 million per year and a player that fits in seamlessly with the Lakers. So all in all, I give the Los Angeles Lakers an A+ for the way they've handled this offseason, because this is my vision. I straight up said from the very beginning, I don't want a big three surrounded by veteran minimum contracts. I want smart contracts investing in young players that could space out the floor, that could play defense, that could take as much of a burden off of Anthony Davis and LeBron James as humanly possible. Rob Pelinka has been a wizard over the past year. I have to admit, he's done a remarkable job. Hopefully I bring you guys an update on Austin Reeves as well very, very soon. Well, we got our answer, ladies and gentlemen, because the Los Angeles Lakers have agreed to a 4-year, $56 million early bird maximum contract extension to bring back Austin Reeves, a player that is a remarkable story. Started out as an undrafted free agent who really stepped up during this past year and developed remarkably. But it seems like Rob Pelinka stuck to his guns, because this is what the Lakers are going to look like now. At the point guard position, you have D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, and the newly drafted Jalen Hood-Schifino. At shooting guard, you have Austin Reeves, Cam Reddish, and Max Christie. At small forward, you have LeBron James and Taurean Prince. At power forward, you have Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt. And at center, you have Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes. Los Angeles Lakers are incredibly deep. I mean, this is the perfect blend of youth, combined with championship experience, combined with players that could take over at any given moment, or players that could pick up the slack when some of the other players are clearly lacking. A team that quite literally made it to the Western Conference Finals as the 7th overall seed in the West, got significantly better this offseason. None of these players were overpaid. As a matter of fact, it seems like a lot of these players made significant sacrifices to return to the Los Angeles Lakers, but maybe I'm a little biased, so let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about the Los Angeles Lakers offseason? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.